All right, it's the moment liberals, the Trump-hating press have been so anxiously waiting for. Former disgraced FBI Director James Comey is ready to cash in on his very public hatred for President Donald Trump. Now, his book tour kicks off on Sunday. We couldn't have scripted this any better. He's sitting down for his first interview with Clinton sycophant turned ABC so-called news journalist George Stephanopoulos. Watch this promo they're running.
How strange is it for you to sit here and compare the president to a mob boss?
This Sunday night on ABC.
Are there things that you know but haven't said that could damage President Trump?
James Comey.
And to those who say you should have brought Hillary Clinton before a grand jury?
The exclusive interview everyone will be talking about.
Was President Trump obstructing justice? Should Donald Trump be impeached?
Stephanopoulos. Comey. This Sunday night at a special time, 10/9 Central on ABC.
Really? Mob boss. Let's think about this. Of all the people, the former head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the person responsible for taking down actual deadly criminal gangs, shouldn't James Comey know better to make an outrageous comparison like that? Now, since Comey clearly doesn't know what he's talking about, we're going to remind the former FBI director what an actual mob boss looks like. Like, for example, Al Capone. Remember? Notorious gangster, organized the illicit gambling, prostitution, tax evasion, and, of course, was responsible for an untold number of murders, including 7 people in one day, which is now famously known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And we got, Lucky Luciano. He was responsible for widespread extortion, prostitution rings, bootlegging, and also murder. And last but not least, we can go on all night. Look at John Gotti, convicted of 13 murders, also involved in racketeering, tax evasion, illicit gambling, and, of course, obstruction of justice. So, Mr. Comey, you're really going to compare the sitting president of the United States to a mob boss so you can make money? People that are tied to murder, drugs, money laundering, extortion, prostitution, loan sharking, and all sorts of other racketeering crimes. Now, why are you doing this? Just to make yourself look good? Do you really need the extra money? Just to become rich and famous? Just to make your point that you don't like Donald Trump? Now, I guess since Comey, if he's going to use this sweeping analogy, I've decided tonight we're going to use the Comey standard, I call it, and make some comparisons of our own. Now, if Comey thinks Trump is a mob boss, if he is in his eyes, well, let's talk about a family responsible for actual crimes. We'll call it the head of the notorious political cabal, of course, Bill and Hillary Clinton, the Clinton crime family. Bill Clinton, as we've shown you many times, has been accused of severe sexual misconduct, harassment, even rape by Juanita Broderick. We know he lied under oath, and we know he paid Paula Jones. We know he was impeached. And meanwhile, Hillary Clinton, well, we know she committed crime. She should have been charged if we have equal justice under the law. She mishandled national secrets on that illicit private server, obstructed justice, destroyed evidence, and Clinton wasn't alone in covering up her misdeeds. Look at Cheryl Mills on the screen. She was a witness in this email investigation, declared attorney-client privilege in order to abstain from answering any questions. Attorney-client privilege, imagine that. Now, longtime Clinton aide, remember Uma Abedin, who possessed classified information on her private computer, uncovered in the Anthony Weiner underage sexting investigation. Then we got sketchy Terry McAuliffe. He directed his political action committee, remember, donating hundreds of thousands of dollars, an obscene amount of money to the state Senate campaign of Jill McCabe, the wife of, Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe. And, of course, he now obviously is out of that post, and he got fired. And he sat on Huma Abedin's emails for months. And, of course, Loretta Lynch. Really, are we to believe that the former attorney general had a secret meeting on an airport tarmac with Bill Clinton in Phoenix just days before Comey cleared Clinton? And next, of course, we're going to look at the Clinton crime family. You have the Clinton bought and paid for dossier that was used to get and 3 times renew a FISA warrant against the Trump campaign associate. Now, this was authored by ex-foreign spy, remember, foreign national Christopher Steele, working for Fusion GPS, hired by the law firm Perkins Coie at the request of the Clinton campaign. And according to reports, Clinton crony Sid Vicious Blumenthal and others shopped that dossier around the State Department and to the media. Now, this brings us to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, okay, part of the same family. Okay, she helped rig the primary for Hillary Clinton as head of the DNC, according to Donna Brazile. And Donna, of course, gave some questions before a debate. Now, last but not least, you, of course, have the Uranium One scandal. Then Secretary of State Clinton, along with the Attorney General, Eric Holder, others in the Obama administration. Why would we ever sign off on giving away control of 20% of America's uranium to a hostile actor like Russia and a Russian state-owned company after the president of Uranium One pumped the Clinton Foundation with millions of dollars of cash? Well, we import 90% of our uranium. Now, the next, by the way, if we're going to go to crime families, let's look at the Mueller crime family. Now, of course, we are now on day 329 of the Mueller witch hunt, and there's still zero evidence of collusion. Imagine that. And now we're talking about Stormy and Karen McDougal. Oh, and even the NBC Access Hollywood tape. Now, let's start with Mueller. Remember, this whole witch hunt started when Mueller's best friend, James Comey, leaked his personal, potentially classified notes to his friend, who was a professor at Columbia, who leaked those notes to the press, all as a purpose for setting forward the wheels in motion for a special counsel, which he got. Another best friend, Robert Mueller. We'll have more on that in a minute, but stay focused on Mueller. During Mueller's time as a federal prosecutor in Boston, four men wrongfully imprisoned for decades, framed by an FBI informant and notorious gangster, Whitey Bulger, all while Mueller's office looked the other way. And Mueller was also responsible for the prosecution of the wrong person following the anthrax attacks after 9/11. That took place during Mueller's tenure as the head of the FBI. And by the way, in that case with Whitey Bulger, a whole $100 million payout, and two of the four people died in jail that were put in there, and they were innocent. And then look at Mueller's merry band of Democratic donors. Couldn't find one Trump supporter to work on the special counsel case? Take a look at the side of your screen. Tens of thousands of dollars to Democrats, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, not a single penny to Donald Trump. And then you have, why would anybody pick this guy? The New York Times describes as Mueller's pit bull, Andrew Weissmann. His aggressive prosecution tactics have caused tens of thousands of people to lose their jobs, their livelihood, in the case against Anderson Accounting. Now, that was eventually overturned, 9-0 in the Supreme Court. He's also responsible for the imprisonment of 4 Merrill Lynch executives. That was overturned by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and he has been accused twice that I know of withholding exculpatory evidence by judges in cases. And Weissmann also wrote a note to Sally Yates, remember, praising her for refusing to enforce President Trump's travel ban. The Wall Street Journal reporting Weissmann attended Hillary Clinton's election night party. Well, you want him hired as the pit bull to go after you in this never-ending, wide, with zero mandate witch hunt of Robert Mueller? Because that's what's happening. Would you want that guy going after you with that track record? And why would Mueller ever appoint that man? And then also on his team, Jeannie Ray. She previously has done legal work for the Clinton Foundation, huge Democratic donor. Can we say conflict of interest? Now, next up, okay, we have the disgraced Trump-hating lovebirds. There's Strzok, there's Page, who Mueller tapped to help with the investigation. And based on all the text messages that so far have been exposed, there's a lot more coming. Hopefully one day it's apparent that they were out to get Trump from the very beginning, and they're the ones that texted about having the insurance policy in case Donald Trump actually won, and called them pretty much every nasty name in the book. Now, they got removed once their bias was exposed. Now, last but not least, we have one other crime family we want to tell you about. And, well, this is near and dear to Comey's heart. We'll call it the Comey crime family. He loves this analogy. Let's stay with it. And during his tenure at the FBI, we all know about the special treatment that Hillary Clinton received from the Bureau. Comey agreed to call Clinton's email investigation a matter when it was an investigation at the request of Loretta Lynch. Comey, with Peter Strzok and others, they wrote an exoneration in May before they even interviewed her, or 17 other witnesses in July. An exoneration before investigation. And we also know Comey signed off on multiple FISA warrants against a Trump campaign associate, as did Rod Rosenstein, Sally Yates, and others. And we know that Christopher Steele's phony dossier, well, according to the Grassley-Graham memo, that was the bulk of the FISA application. Hillary paid for it. They never verified it. According to FISA law, they should have, and according to FBI protocol. This is the very same dossier that John McCain gave to Comey after it was obtained by his associate, David Kramer. And fellow Comey deep state sycophant, then CIA Director John Brennan, remember, he briefed Harry Reid on that dossier. Harry Reid leaked the details about these Clinton bought and paid for lies to the press. Now, knowing what we now know about what is obvious deep state crime families trying to take down the president. Again, staying with Comey's analogy, are you now glad that Trump fired Comey? This is clearly a guy that has his own self-aggrandizing, arrogant agenda, who himself should be under investigation, who lied to Trump, mishandled the FISA court system, maybe even lies to the FISA court judges, we'll find out, leaked privileged government documents, failed to apply the law equally, which should be everybody's concern. And Comey is now set to make millions of dollars off this impending book tour, all while trashing the president the whole way. Now, I say to Mr. Comey, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Come on this show. You get the whole hour. I'm on 570 radio stations with 14 million, 15 million listeners. Promote your book, and I'll ask you tough, fair questions that the American people deserve answered. All right. Also tonight, we cannot forget the U.S. preparing to respond to Syria's gas attack against innocent men, women, and children. The president sending a clear warning to the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump taking to Twitter earlier today. Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Get ready, Russia, because they'll be coming nice, new, and smart. And you shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his own people and enjoys it. And then the president continued, our relationship with Russia is now worse than it has ever been, and that includes during the Cold War. There's no reason for this. Russia needs us to help with their economy, something that would be very easy to do, and we need all nations to work together to stop the arms race. Now, much of the bad blood with Russia is caused by the fake and corrupt Russia investigation headed up by all Democratic loyalists, people that work for Obama. Mueller is most conflicted of all, except for Rosenstein, who signed the FISA and the Comey letter. And there's no collusion, so they go crazy. So it's time for Putin to wake up. And President Trump is nothing like President Obama. You will see. Now, we'll keep you posted on any of these developments out of Syria as they happen, and action could be imminent. Ed Henry will also join us with a full report. We have another breaking news story we are following. This is a major development after 8 months of unprecedented DOJ obstruction under the threat of contempt and impeachment. Rod Rosenstein finally today, at the last hour, cooperated with the House Intel Committee Chairman Devin Nunes and his request to see the original document that started this Russia investigation. Now, Nunes and Congressman Trey Gowdy and congressional staffers, they met with Rosenstein at the DOJ today. We're finally able to view a still redacted version of the document that was used to start this Russia investigation. Okay, good step. Why do we have to push it to this point? And isn't it amazing how Rosenstein all of a sudden starts cooperating after others are threatening him with impeachment and then threatening Christopher Wray in contempt of Congress? You know what? It shouldn't have to come to this. Now, it's a big step. And Chairman Nunes is now saying it allows him to continue the House Intel investigation into the DOJ and the FBI abuses. However, we can't forget, this is one tiny piece of the evidence. Congress, and we know Rosenstein is the one that's obstructed. He didn't want us to know anything about FISA abuses. And Congress is subpoenaed and demanding that 1.2 million documents be turned over. So there's a long way to go. Nunes, Gowdy, other members of Congress, they have constitutional oversight authority.